You know, on the surface, a gridiron football game looks pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Two teams, a ball, try to get it down the field.
Yeah.
But what if I told you that beneath that simplicity lies a strategic ocean, really? A set of rules so deep and interconnected it could make your head spin.
Hmm.
Today, that's exactly where we're diving. You sent us a truly monumental stack of documents, the detailed rules covering everything from like how single play unfolds to the intricate dance of team management, coaching philosophies.
Right. Right.
Even how the college game throws its own wrinkles into the mix.
Yeah.
Honestly, just looking at the sheer volume hints at a fascinating level of design.
Oh, absolutely. It's a comprehensive collection, and that's precisely why this deep dive is so valuable.
Yeah.
Think of this as your shortcut, maybe. The distilled essence of these rules. Our goal isn't to recite every clause, but to illuminate the strategic core, the surprising mechanics that make this particular Gridiron League so engaging.
Absolutely. We're not aiming for a rulebook recital here. Not at all. Instead, we want to pull out the threads that show just how meticulously this game is designed. Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the nuts and bolts. Gameplay.
Okay.
You've got these offensive formations. The PRO set seems like the workhorse, but then you have set 8, long 8, short 8. It's not just window dressing, is it?
Not at all, no.
No.
The formation dictates the possibilities, both for the offense and the defense. The PRO set, well, with its balanced structure, it offers a wide array of options. But when you see a team shift into a long 8 or short 8, it's often signaling a specific intent, right? It's narrowing down the potential play calls and creating a different set of challenges for the defense to anticipate.
Okay.
The key takeaway here is that these formations are strategic signals. They allow offenses to dictate the terms and limit defensive options. And that set 8 formation is unique. Its play calls are often directly tied to exploiting mismatches or advantages against how the defense lines up.
Right. So the defense has to react immediately. And then the plays themselves. You have the basic yardage on a play,
Correct.
but then you get into specifics. The streak pass, for example, this base of 25 yards. That's huge right off the bat.
Yeah, significant.
Compared to the sneak, which is clearly a short yardage, got to get that first down kind of call.
Yeah.
And then these special plays like the shotgun, it's mentioned more as a formation, but, it just changes the dynamic.
Exactly. The streak pass highlights the potential for immediate big gains in this league. Bang, 25 yards minimum.
Yeah.
The sneak underscores the importance of those crucial short yardage situations. And formations like the shotgun, while maybe not a play in itself, they fundamentally alter the quarterback's positioning and available options, often leaning towards a heavier passing attack. Then you have the screen pass, where the initial yardage is 0, but the chance of a line break becomes key. It's all about creating those opportunities in the space. So the initial play call is just the starting point. The potential for explosive gains or crucial short yardage conversions is built right into these basic mechanics.
Okay, so you've got these plays, but what really seems to determine success, at least on the line of scrimmage, is this concept of trench warfare.
Ah, yeah, the battle up front.
It's not just about brute strength, is it? There's a calculation, the BP, involving offense versus defense. Some of the examples you provided really brought that to life, showing how player attributes and even experience can give a team an edge.
Exactly.
And like example 39, a player with a higher quickness rating can significantly impact his BP, even if their strength is, comparable to their opponent.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how the game quantifies that battle in the trenches. This BP, which stands for battle point calculation, drawing on individual player quickness and strength.
Yeah.
It really simulates the push and pull at the line. And as you noted, experience plays a role. It demonstrates that seasoned players often have an edge in recognizing and reacting to their opponents. The key insight here is that success on the line isn't just about brute force. Strategic player selection and development significantly impact play outcomes before the snap.
And then the passing game gets incredibly detailed. It's not just, throw and catch.
No, far from it.
You have offensive plays versus defensive zones, automatic incomplete chances, which just sounds brutal.
Just, nope, didn't connect.
And then these bombs, these potential long gains, the formulas for those breakaways, factoring in speed and strength, and even the chance to go all the way. It's like every play has this hidden potential for a massive swing.
Definitely. The passing game rules showcase a real depth of simulation. The interplay between offensive play design and defensive zone coverage is crucial.
Yeah.
The automatic incomplete chances reflect the inherent difficulty of completing passes, even without direct defensive pressure. It's just hard sometimes.
Right.
And the bombs and breakaway calculations highlight the excitement of the big play, but also the factors that contribute to those game-changing moments, that combination of speed to get open and strength to break tackles. Ultimately, these rules create a risk-reward dynamic, doesn't it? Where the potential for big gains must be balanced against the likelihood of incompletions.
And interceptions, those aren't just random either. There's a base chance, but then it's modified based on the tackler's position, their technique.
Right, are they playing the ball or the man?
And even this X-factor influence we saw in some examples, it feels like every aspect of the play, even a turnover, is rooted in these underlying mechanics.
This raises an important question, actually, about how much control coaches truly have and where the inherent randomness of the game, plays its part. The interception rules perfectly illustrate this. While a skilled defensive back in the right position has a higher chance of making a play, there's always that element of chance, that unpredictable bounce of the ball.
Yeah, the tipped pass.
Exactly. The crucial insight is that while there's always luck involved, strategic positioning and player skill demonstrably increase the chances of a defensive play. You put your best guys in the best spots.
The running game also has its own complexities. Basic yardage, the impact of running direction, which makes sense.
Where you hit the line. Yeah.
And then, just like the passing game, breakaway chances and fumbles. The fumble rules are particularly interesting, with recovery chances differing between runs and passes. And even modifiers based on the ball carrier skills and the defensive pressure.
Yeah, the distinction in fumble recovery chances between run and pass plays reflects the different contexts. On a run, the offensive team is typically more engaged in blocking downfield, potentially putting them in a better position to recover.
Okay, that makes sense.
The modifiers for skilled running backs or mobile quarterbacks add another layer of realism, acknowledging their greater ball security, or supposed ball security. And the possibility of a fumble going out of bounds, always recovered by the offense, introduces another tactical consideration. So ball security and the immediate aftermath of a turnover are clearly built into the core mechanics.
And it's not just about offense. Attacking the quarterback is a whole other dimension. Basic pass rush, the calculation behind it, and then blitzing, with bonuses based on who's coming after the QB.
Like a corner blitz versus a linebacker blitz, yeah.
And then the QB can try to run or scramble, but even that has its limitations, especially for quarterbacks who aren't particularly quick. There's even a QB dive option.
Yeah, the rules around attacking the quarterback highlight the strategic battle between the offensive line and the defensive front seven. Blitzing adds an element of risk and reward, right? Potentially leading to a sack, but also leaving other areas of the defense vulnerable.
Big time.
The limitations on non-quick quarterbacks scrambling effectively mirror real-world scenarios, and the QB dive represents that short yardage desperation play. Just got to get a yard. The anticipation check for a blitz is also a fascinating detail. It shows how quarterbacks can develop a sense for when pressure is coming. This creates a compelling cat-and-mouse game between the quarterback and the defensive coordinator.
We haven't even touched on special teams yet, and that seems like a whole separate game within the game.
Oh, it really is. Hugely important.
Different units, specific player roles, blockers, runners, kickers, punters, holders, long snappers, and even level considerations for these roles. And within these special teams units, you have a variety of specialized roles, each with their own considerations. Blocker, runner, kicker.
Punter, holder, long snapper.
Yeah. The kickoff distance formula after a safety, squib kicks, punting with chances for booming it or even shanking it.
Oh.
Letting the ball bounce on returns, blocked field goals. It's exhaustive.
Special teams are often overlooked, but these rules demonstrate their critical importance. Each unit and player role has a specific function and contributes to field position scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
The detailed formulas for kick distances, hang time, block chances illustrate that even these seemingly routine plays have a significant degree of strategic depth. The different stances for a special team's aggressive versus safe also add a coaching decision with implications for both potential gains and injury risk.
Right.
The key takeaway is that special teams are not just an afterthought. They are a crucial component of overall team strategy. Field position is king sometimes.
And then you have the things that can derail even the best laid plans.
Penalties.
Penalties, just to mention of various types, but they can completely flip field position or even the outcome of a drive.
Oh, absolutely. Drive killers.
And fatigue. This trainer fatigue total, or TFT, sounds like it could really impact player performance as a drive wears on.
Yeah, penalties are the unscripted moments that force coaches to adjust. The sheer variety of penalties listed underscores the importance of discipline and attention to detail. And fatigue is a crucial element of realism. The trainer fatigue total, or TFT, calculation shows how the cumulative effort of a drive can take its toll, potentially affecting a player's speed, agility, decision-making, and later plays.
So you got to rotate guys.
Exactly. This forces coaches to consider player rotation and the overall conditioning of their team. So managing player energy and minimizing errors are vital for sustained success within a drive.
Finally, in terms of immediate gameplay impact, there's leadership. It's not just a title. It actually affects important games and plays.
Yeah, that intangible factor.
Maximum and even negative leadership values, a loyalty bonus, and even a reduction in interception chances. It's like having an extra intangible advantage on the field.
Leadership is that crucial intangible that can elevate a team's performance in critical moments. The fact that it's quantified and has tangible in-game effects highlights its value. The loyalty bonus suggests that teams who can retain their leaders over time may gain an additional edge, and the reduction in interception chance for leaders speaks to their composure and decision-making under pressure. This emphasizes that building a team culture with strong leadership is a strategic advantage.
Okay, so that's just on-field action. Whew. But behind the scenes, the strategic team management seems just as deep.
If not deeper sometimes.
Roster limits, player assignments that can't change mid-game.
Important detail, that.
And these player attributes, quickness, Q, strength, S, and technique, T, all represented as percentages, often referred to as QST percentages. And then positional versatility, but with associated penalties. It's like building a puzzle with very specific pieces.
Exactly. Effective team management is the foundation for on-field success. The roster limits force coaches to make difficult decisions about player value and depth.
Yeah.
The fixed player assignments during a game emphasize the importance of pre-game planning and having players in the right roles. And the QST percentages offer a nuanced way of evaluating player skill beyond just overall level.
Okay. The penalties for positional versatility highlight the trade-offs involved in asking players to step outside their primary roles. This shows that roster construction and player development require careful consideration of individual skills and team needs. Can't just plug anyone anywhere.
And player experience, not just a general term. You have game time, formations, special teams experience, all with their own grades and impact on player level and performance.
Right, it's broken down.
There's even new team jitters, a penalty for players who just joined the team.
Ah, yeah, that's a nice touch of realism.
And formation experience even carries over, but differently for offense and defense. You can even see how these experience grades are calculated in Table 23 using the PET calculation.
Yeah, the detailed experience system adds a layer of progression and realism to player development. It rewards playing time and familiarity within specific schemes. The different categories of experience reflect the multifaceted nature of player development.
New team jitters acknowledges the adjustment period for players joining a new environment. And the differing carryover rates for offensive and defensive formation experience likely reflect the greater complexity and reliance on cohesion in offensive playbooks.
Okay.
So player development is a long-term investment that goes beyond just raw talent. You got to get the reps.
Then you have player potential journeyman, quality, elite, which influences their development, and player development itself is tied to coaching, with coaching points, base chances of level increases, and even cumulative benefits from unsuccessful coaching attempts.
So you don't just waste the points if it doesn't stick immediately.
Right. There's even a benefit for unearthing quarterbacks learning from a senior quarterback and the development squad. It's like a farm system with its own rules and restrictions on who can transfer points and to what extent.
Yeah, the potential system introduces the element of long-term team building. It encourages coaches to identify and nurture young talent. The detailed coaching rules provide a mechanism for player improvement, rewarding investment, and strategic allocation of coaching resources. The senior quarterback mentorship adds a realistic touch to QB development.
Definitely.
And the development squad allows for the stashing and development of younger players without impacting the active roster, albeit with specific rules to prevent exploitation. This highlights the strategic importance of both acquiring and developing talent for sustained success.
Injuries. That's a whole can of worms.
Always is in football.
Severity levels, A to G, injury checks after every play, but no in-game effect. Special teams injury chances influenced by age and even stance.
Playing aggressive versus safe on special teams, yeah.
And then injury recovery tied to a coach injury modifier or CIM injured reserve status, rest, player age, and injury severity. And injured reserve itself has its own rules about eligibility from week 2 and roster counts. Doesn't count against the limit. It feels like managing injuries could be a full-time job.
It probably is for the virtual trainer. Injuries are an inevitable part of football, and these rules reflect their significant impact. The tiered severity levels demonstrate the varying degrees to which injuries can affect a player's ability.
Right. A is minor, G is season-ending.
Something like that. The post-play injury checks, without immediate in-game effects, emphasize the long-term consequences. The different injury chances for special teams players and the modifiers based on stance introduce another strategic layer.
Yeah.
And the detailed recovery rules, along with the injured reserve, provide coaches with tools to manage these setbacks, but also highlight the element of unpredictability. Effective injury management is crucial for maintaining team performance throughout a long season.
We also have free agents, where they come from, trialing them, signing them, and then staff specialisms. Defensive coordinators with pressure tactics. Offensive line coaches focus on protection. RB coaches emphasizing pass receiving.
Each giving little boosts.
Each with their own unique in-game effects and activation conditions tied to specific players and attributes. It's like having specialized consultants on your coaching staff.
It really is. Free agency is the primary mechanism for acquiring talent outside of the draft. The trialing process adds a layer of evaluation before committing to a signing.
Right. Try before you buy.
Exactly. And the staff specialisms introduce another level of strategic depth to coaching. These specializations, with their specific in-game triggers and effects, allow coaches to further tailor their team's strengths and exploit opponent weaknesses, provided they can identify and link with the right players. This illustrates that building a strong coaching staff with complementary skills is just as important as having talented players.
Finally, in team management, we have captains. Eligibility rules, the benefits they provide, and even senior captains. It's another way to inject leadership and experience into key units.
Yeah, captains serve as on-field extensions of the coaching staff, providing leadership and potentially influencing player performance. The eligibility requirements ensure that captains have a certain level of experience and commitment to the team.
Okay.
And the concept of senior captains recognizes the value of long-term leadership within a unit. Ultimately, captains contribute to team cohesion and performance in critical situations.
Okay, so we've got the players and the staff sorted. Now comes game day and the strategies and tactics. Game plan management with situational eights, play cards with maximum usage conditions.
Can't just run the same killer play card all game.
Right, even a no-huddle offense with its own impacts. It's like preparing for a chess match with hundreds of possible moves.
It is. The game player and play card systems allow coaches to pre-program their strategic approach for various game situations. The situational eights provide flexibility to adapt to different down and distance scenarios or opponent tendencies. Play cards offer a way to script specific sequences of plays, but with limitations on usage to prevent predictability. And the no-huddle offense introduces a change of pace, potentially catching the defense off guard, but also with its own set of trade-offs in terms of execution.
Yeah, might lead to more mistakes.
Could do. Effective game day management requires anticipating opponent actions and having a well-prepared strategic response.
And then the defense gets just as intricate. Defensive stances nominated within the eights, default stances adapting to offensive success, defensive backfield cover concepts like cover N, where the N often signifies a zone coverage with a specific number of deep defenders.
Cover 2, cover 3, etc.
And then man coverage, with adjustments to automatic incomplete chances, interceptions, long gains, and yardage based on player attributes and experience. Even bump and run, with its additional off-stride effect on receivers and defensive brackets to double-team receivers.
Yeah, the defensive side of the ball offers a wide array of strategic options. The ability to nominate different stances within each eight allows coaches to tailor their defensive approach to specific offensive formations and play calls.
Right.
The cover end system provides a framework for understanding defensive backfield coverage. And the detailed rules for man coverage, including the impact of player attributes and experience, highlight the importance of individual matchups. Bump and run and defensive brackets are examples of more specialized tactics designed to disrupt specific aspects of the passing game. This showcases the constant strategic adjustments happening on every down between the offense and defense. It's a real chess match.
We haven't even gotten to the linebackers and defensive line. Outside linebacker, OB, and inside linebacker, ILB, stances zone, contain, blitz, delayed blitz, pass drop deep, with specific impacts on run and pass plays.
Yeah, huge differences in responsibility there.
And Defensive line stances, 2-gap, 1-gap, eagle, run blitz, pass rush, pass drop deep again, with their own effects. And this concept of gap blocking with offensive and defensive considerations, it's like every player on the field has multiple potential roles and responsibilities depending on the call.
Absolutely. The different linebacker and defensive line stances demonstrate the versatility and specialization within a defensive scheme. Each stance offers a unique set of advantages and disadvantages against different types of offensive plays.
Okay.
Gap blocking is a fundamental aspect of run defense, and the interplay between offensive and defensive gap assignments determines who wins the battle at the point of attack. The eagle stance for both linebackers and defensive ends, requiring coordination between them, is a great example of a more complex tactical alignment.
Wow.
This level of detail allows for highly customized defensive strategies.
And then there were designer plays, creating variations of standard plays within formations, with restrictions on certain formations like heavy jumbo.
Can't get too tricky with the big guys, maybe.
Specific examples like the B back as a blocking back against blitzes, the R back as a block and release option, the secondary receiver as a coverage stack contingency,
Smart little adjustments.
and then rushing blocking schemes like counter, counter gap, off tackle, veer, emphasizing different lineman attributes, and even boutique plays like the bubble screen with its own design and blocking considerations.
Designer plays are where coaches can really imprint their own strategic creativity on the game. By modifying standard plays within specific formations, they can create unique looks and exploit perceived weaknesses in the opponent's defense. The examples you mentioned, the B-back, R-back, and secondary receiver, all address specific challenges in pass protection and receiving. And the detailed descriptions of rushing blocking schemes highlight how different play designs can leverage different strengths within the offensive line.
Right, pulling guards for a counterplay versus zone blocking.
Exactly. These custom plays can be the key to unlocking an opponent's defense.
We also have different offensive formation types beyond the pro set I form, ace, pistol, trips, 3 wide, eyes, heavy, empty, each with their own characteristics and tendencies.
Yeah, signaling different intentions usually. Empty means pass, heavy means run, usually.
And then end-of-game scenarios, end-of-game TD attempts, the Hail Mary with its own conditions and rule modifications, timeouts with rules for usage, and even a QB inexperience factor.
Young QBs might burn timeouts too early.
Could be. The 2-minute offense with its activation conditions and effects, influenced by QB experience, it's like there's a specific rule for almost every conceivable situation.
Seems like it. The variety of offensive formations allows for different stylistic approaches to the game. The end-of-game rules introduce a heightened sense of drama and strategic decision-making in those crucial final moments.
Yeah.
The limitations on timeout usage and the potential for inexperienced quarterbacks to mismanage them add another layer of realism. And the 2-minute offense represents that high-pressure, fast-paced attack designed to quickly gain ground when time is running out. These detailed rules for specific situations ensure a consistent and strategic approach even in the most chaotic moments of a game.
And finally, in game day strategies, we have motivation, influenced by various factors, and the effects of talk it up and talk it down in rivalries.
Getting the team fired up, or maybe too fired up.
Rivalries themselves have an impact on player level and home game crowds in college. Home advantage, with factors influencing it, and even a reduction when leading by a large margin.
So the crowd noise dies down if it's a blowout.
Seems like it. And weather effects, rain and windy, impacting running, passing, fumbles, interceptions, and special teams. It's like the environment itself is another factor to consider.
Definitely. Motivation and psychological factors play a significant role in athletic competition, and these rules acknowledge that. Rivalries add an extra layer of intensity to games, influencing both player performance and fan engagement. Home advantage is a tangible benefit, but the rule about it diminishing with a large lead reflects the changing atmosphere of the game, and the inclusion of weather effects adds a level of unpredictability and forces coaches to adjust their game plans based on the conditions.
Yeah, can't throw deep in a hurricane.
Pretty much. This demonstrates that successful teams need to account for both physical and psychological factors.
And that's just the pro game. There are even college game variations.
Right. A whole different beast sometimes.
College conferences, the college draft, college traditions impacting everything from rushing and passing offenses to pass rush and special teams with specific stat and level modifiers.
So like running you actually gets a bonus to running plays.
Exactly.
Huh.
College characteristics like home advantage and motivation, college rivalries managed by coaches, and adjustments to the game design itself, greater variability in yardage, more broken plays, more turnovers,
Sounds more chaotic.
and even specific impacts of formations like the double T and spread, and then fame and popularity in college with its own levels, events, and influence on various aspects of the game. It's like the college game is a more volatile, higher variance version.
Yeah, the college game variations introduce a different flavor of football, often emphasizing tradition, individual player development, and perhaps a greater degree of unpredictability. The college traditions provide unique statistical and level-based advantages, reflecting the historical strengths of different programs. The increased chances of broken plays and turnovers can lead to more dramatic and unpredictable outcomes.
Right. More wild swings.
And the fame and popularity system adds another layer of team building and fan engagement. The key takeaway is that while the fundamental rules are shared, the college game has its own distinct strategic and dynamic elements. It feels different.
Wow. Just wow. Summarizing all of that, it's clear that even what looks like a simple game on the surface is built on this incredibly intricate and interconnected web of rules.
It really is.
It's not just about X's and O's, it's about understanding these deep mechanics.
Exactly. What's fascinating, perhaps, is how even seemingly basic aspects of the game, a simple pass, a routine punt, are governed by these layers of strategic consideration.
Yeah.
The detailed tackle selection process, the nuances of quarterback scrambles, the specific triggers for staff specialisms, and the way college traditions can fundamentally alter gameplay are just a few examples of the depth we've uncovered. It really underscores that every decision, both on and off the field, has strategic implications.
It really does give you a newfound appreciation for the strategic battles happening on every single play. This deep dive has only scratched the surface, really. I'm sure there were even more layers and strategies waiting to be explored within this intricate league.
Oh, I'm sure.
So knowing this level of detail exists within the game's framework, what aspect of a gridiron match will you now view with a fresh perspective?
Good question.
Let us know your aha moments or any further questions you have. Maybe we'll even have to dive into specific areas in more detail in the future.